Hello everybody, welcome to the next video on this series of fly tying tutorials for the Chilton's fly tyers and fly fishers. Today we're going to be tying the suggested pattern by our chairman, which is the large dark olive soft hackled version, a fly liked very much by one of our members, Bob Sharp, who demonstrated how successful this pattern was at our last trip down at Wherwell for the grayling. I've had a look at a few articles on this fly. Basically John Barnes is the one that devised it. There's another couple of patterns I found doing a little bit of research, but they all use a soft body hackle. John Barnes uses a spade hackle from a jungle cock. I don't happen to have those, but Bob Sharp assures me that the partridge hackle works equally as well, so that's what we'll be using today. So firstly I'm going to be using a medium wire hook. I've got a B405 here. It's got a barb, so just flatten the barb. And this is quite a nice hook for the size of the shank, because there's a little bit of a length required on this fly. I'm going to be using, I've got just this Vivus 8.0, but it's in orange. Unfortunately I don't happen to have this spooled onto my retractable vise, so I'm having to go back to the old-fashioned way of doing it. So foundation thread all the way down to point opposite the hook point, and let's remove the waste, and the tail is Coq de Leon. I'm going to be using three or four fibers. The fly that this represents is a Batis, and I think the Batis have only got two tails, but I don't think the trout are going to be counting, so we're going to position that on top of the shank. Just going to pull it through to length, and we're looking at about just over perhaps 1 1/4 times the length of the body. So push that down, take it round to the bend, and then a couple of wraps round the bend, around the fibres to kick them up, and then we'll just remove those fibres there. Right, so the body material, there's no ribbing on this fly. The body material is brown olive, and I have brown olive in the life cycle series, and I've also got masterclass bend for Oliver Edwards River and Stream, and he has a Batis brown olive, so I've mixed those two together. They're very similar. I don't think you could use one or the other and it wouldn't make a lot of difference, because I've got both. I've just blended them together. I've got a tiny little bit of sparkle, whether you can pick that up. So John Barnes uses a UV Haresy, I think it is, dyed olive brown, and it's got that UV sparkle in it. So this is what we've got. Right, so we just want tiny amounts of the dubbing. Very easy to dub this material, but you can just put too much on, so just small amounts, and then gonna just lock that up, and hopefully those fibres will just lock up so we can spin them round, tighten up the dubbing. Okay. So using my rotary vise, I'm going to just build up a fine, nicely tapered body if we can. Just going to line that up a little bit more. And we're looking to go down or up the shank about 2/3. A bit more. There we go. Just remove that last little bit. Just draw those fibres back. I'm just going forward a little bit with the thread. And the wing is CDC, brown mallard CDC, two strands. A little bit of editing there. The wings didn't want to play ball with me, so I've got another pair of CDC feathers. So just offering those up into position, making sure the tips are lined up, and then a couple of turns round to lock line, and then not too much pressure so that we can then draw those fibres forward, down rather, just pushing that wing into the right position. When you're happy with that, lock it off, and then a couple of turns behind the wing to kick it up in the air. So we're just going to remove the waist. A little bit of tidying up to do with that head. So the thread now is parked behind the wing, ready to tie in the hackle, which in this case is a partridge. This is the partridge skin, and this is the body hackles at the back, which is where I've taken one of these feathers from. The pattern that John Barnes was tying, he used jungle cockspade feathers, which unfortunately I don't happen to have. So like with all partridge hackles, removing the fluff and then using some hackle pliers, just pinching the very tip so that I can just encourage all those fibres back, which gives us an opportunity of tying in at the junction of the two. So taking one turn at the back and then coming forward 2 or 3 turns in there, and then we can remove the waist and just bind everything down. So this thread is not as nice as the UTC that I've been using, the multi-strand. It is a slightly flatter material than the uni thread, but I don't think it's as nice to tie with. Right, so stroking the fibres back, take the first turn behind the wing, a full turn behind the wing, and then forward, going one, whoop, stroke them back, one, two, and then lock everything off, making sure that's nice and secure, and then just going to remove the stalk. I'm just using a scalpel, so don't remove any of those fibres. So then pulling everything back, and I'm just trying to get up to the hackle rather than over it so that it doesn't flatten it too much. I'm happy with that. There's a couple of trapped fibres there. Happy with that. Finding a fairly prominent head. And finally, a little bit of varnish. A little bit of varnish on the thread. Two or three turns, and then finally the whip finish. Snug that in, and then remove the waste. And then if we've got some odd fibres, no, that looks, everything looks to be okay, and there we have it. Very good pattern according to Bob Sharp, and I was there to testify that he did catch quite a few fish with it. I was fishing with an Adams size 16 and 18, and I think he was using a size 14, one of these, with equal success if not more. Enjoy, and see you next time.